Hello, everybody. We are going to go ahead and get started here in just a couple minutes. I see Jasper is here. Looks like we lost a couple people, so we'll give them a minute to get back on. I saw they were here right when I got on. They may have been dropped, so we'll give them a minute to come back. Looks like Caden's back. Need one more, so hope everybody's doing well. We are actually, I'm going to start with this homework in just a moment. If you guys want to go ahead and take a look at some of these questions and think about how you would answer them, we're going to answer them as a group in just a moment here. Great, so Logan, we got Logan back as well. Looks like we dropped some people at the beginning here. So we're taking a look at some of these true-false questions. And I'll give you guys another minute. Take a look at some of our answers. We'll go through this. One more minute here. All right. We'll take a look in a little bit about at some of the sites you guys have been putting on Edmodo, which is great. And we'll take a look at those. That way. All right, let's take a look. So hands down. I want you to raise your hand if you think the answer to the first one is true. Go ahead, raise your hand if you think the answer to the first one is true. All right, and now raise your hand if you think the answer to the first one is false. All right, great. We got everybody and got that one correct. Yeah, the answer to this first one is false. Tags are not visible in web browsers. They are what tell the browser how to format the content that's between the tags. So great work. All right, let's take a look at number 2. HTML is no longer used for modern dynamic websites. HTML is no longer used for modern dynamic websites. Raise your hand if you think this one is true. All right, go ahead and raise your hand if you think this one is false. Wonderful. Yep, that's True. So, or well, the answer is false. HTML is no longer used for, HTML is still used. Modern websites use HTML. It's the basis of the web still today. So even beautiful websites are still just these HTML docs. Number 3, HTML does not allow for formatting. HTML does not allow for formatting. Raise your hand if you think this is true. Raise your hand if you think this is false. All right, you guys may have caught on to the theme here. Yeah, so HTML does allow for formatting. You can do some basic formatting with just HTML, like bolding and underlining and italics. And HTML docs can use something called CSS, which is cascading style. And we won't get into that in this class, but it does allow you to format your text. All right, and this last one, number 4. You cannot put a paired tag inside of another paired tag. Raise your hand if you think this one's true. Raise your hand if you think this one's false. All right, yeah, these are all false. It's a little bit of a trick there, which was not intentional at first, but I realized they're all false. Just wanted to see if it would scare anyone from that answer, but no, they were all false. You cannot put a paired tag inside of another tag. This happens all the time, and you can see it with, all HTML lines. All elements are inside that HTML element, right? They're all inside the. Yeah, they're all inside this start HTML tag and end HTML tag, so you can. All right, well, great. So a little recap. On Monday, we learned some different HTML tags. We learned about the heading, and we learned about the paragraph. You guys saw your example sites, and you were able to edit them. And then we learned about some of the history and of HTML and some of the background there. We're going to continue with that today, and we're going to continue to learn some additional tags like style tags. And then we're going to do some hands-on. You guys are going to try out some different HTML, some challenges, and then we're going to get started on the Google sites. We're going to learn how to make a Google site and get started on those as well. All right. Oh, great. So we have everybody today. Excellent. Very exciting. All right, so go ahead and pull up Notepad or TextEdit and raise your hand when you have Notepad or TextEdit up and running and you're ready to go. All right, Max, go ahead and pull up that, and we're gonna get it here. Get going. So we have this bold tag. So if you put B in front of some text and this end B tag after, you're going to get text in bold. If you put an I, it will make that text italics. And a U will make that text underlined. An S will make that text struck through. And you can actually combine these. So let's go ahead and practice this. So with your notepad, and I want you to first look at what I'm doing on my screen, and then you can copy it on your screen, but that'll be a little bit easier. So first, we can go ahead and take this notepad, which we've already been using, and we can choose one word and make it bold with the B. Choose another word and make it italicized with the I. And actually what you'll see, I put the B in an H1 element, and anything in a heading element is already bolded. So that won't actually do anything. So let's go ahead and put it in a paragraph. So HTML is very, and I'll make that bold there. Put that tag around it. All right, so we have the bold is B, italicized is I, underlined, we're going to do a U, and now this is a break, and we'll get to break in just a moment. I'm going to delete it for right now. And S for strike through, so I'll put lane here like I did a typo, and then I'll strike through it. All right, so now it's your turn. Go ahead and add a bold element to your document, add an italicized, add an underlined, and add a struck through. And when you're finished, you can go ahead and try that out, and I'll go through a review of how to open it in browser once we give everybody a chance to add those. So a bold, an underlined, a struck through, and an italicized. Go ahead and try that out, and raise your hand when you are ready. Great, so Jasper has his hand raised. Remember, if you have a question on how to do this, go ahead and type me a question. Oh, no, Jasper, please keep your hand raised if you are finished. Shoot me a question, type me a question if you are not sure how to do this. Raise your hand when you're finished. All right, just want to check in here. Let's see, 6:15. give everybody a couple more minutes, but really all we're doing, you don't need to retype this. I know my text might be a little different. But all you needed to do was find one word that you wanted to italicize and add an I start tag and an IN tag at the end. One word that you wanted to bold, one word that you wanted to underline, and one word that you wanted to strike through. And once you have done this, go ahead and raise your hand so I know we can move forward. Again, and just how I got this. Right-clicking, open with that notepad. And Jasper, if you want to check yours out, you've shown me that some stuff on Edmodo, so I think you remember this, but this is what it should end up looking like. And I just right-clicked that file and opened in browser. All right, I'm going to put everybody's hands down. Just make sure that you're listening. If you need another minute for this formatting, go ahead and raise your hand. All right, so no one needs another minute for the formatting? All right, it's super important, just so that I know how to pace our class, that you all kind of speak up and use those hands to let me know when we're ready to move forward, okay? Great. So this can be nice. A lot of the formatting we're going to do. Yeah, thanks, Jasper. A lot of the formatting we're going to do in a little simpler of a way, but it's nice to be able to know how to do this and to see how HTML can tell the browser how to display your text. Great. We'll keep going on. So what we saw at the end of class, we have this break tag, the BR. It's unpaired, which means you just use it on its own. It allows you to look like you hit enter in a line. So separate paragraphs will allow you to have kind of text on different lines, but also this line break would allow you to have a break in a line. We'll practice this in a minute. Lists. Lists are a little confusing because we have a tag to start the whole list, a tag to end the whole list, and then each bullet point in your list has its own start and end tag, okay? There are two different kinds of lists, unordered, which just looks like bullet points, and ordered, which looks like numbers. Right, so let's go ahead and add one of each of these. So if we wanted to do an unordered list, which is what we'll try first, we'll have UL to start and \UL to finish. Now what you'll notice is in an element like a paragraph or a heading, I have the start tag and the end tag all on one line. But for my elements that are going to contain kind of multiple lines, I actually like to have the start tag and the end tag on two different lines, and then I put what goes in between them. I kind of nest it in between, if that makes sense. And this might make a little bit more sense when you see it. It would work if you had everything all on the same line. This would technically work, and I'll show you what this does. But it's difficult to read, all right? So this does make a little list there, but it's a little difficult to read. So I think what makes it easier to read is if you have each list item on its own line, and you kind of cap it with this unordered list start tag and this unordered list end tag. Okay? So I think that makes it a little bit easier to read. All right, so each, you're going to have the UL tells the browser that you're starting a list, and then each bullet point has its own LI start tag and LI end tag. So here I'm going to say that my list is some of my favorite things. Put that in a paragraph. Unordered list, and then my list item will be my dog Sandy. I have a great dog named Sandy. She's a golden retriever. UNC Chapel Hill. I'm a Tar Heel. And, oops. Programming. And programming is pretty cool. All right, so if I save this and I run it, here's some of my favorite things. My dog Sandy, UNC Chapel Hill, programming, these come up as my list, okay? If I wanted instead that to be a list with numbers, I would just change this U to an O. That's going to change my list from an unordered list to an ordered list. And then my bullet points change, all right? So go ahead and I want you guys to try adding your own one ordered list and one unordered list to your HTML document, okay? Let's see, someone's got a hand up. Hey, Caveman, I see you. Just be patient if you jump back in. A lot of times, if I'm doing something on my screen, I can see that a hand is raised, but it'll just take me a minute to get there. Okay, so glad that you're back. Sorry if you're having some technical troubles. So we just learned about a new thing called a list. It starts with a start tag that is either UL or OL. And so let's just start with this OL. That means that it's going to create these bullet points. In this case, they're going to be numbered. And each of the bullet points, so there's my start tag for my ordered list, there's my end tag for my ordered list. And each of the bullet points starts with a start tag and ends with an end tag. The LI stands for list item. Okay. Now, I want you to try that out, but one thing, Cademan, before you get started, we also learned about the bold tag, the italics tag, the underline tag, and the strike through tag. And you can see the kind of the effects of that right here. I will say this is recorded, so you can absolutely go back and rewatch those if you want, or you can go ahead and try them now. But I do want you to try adding an ordered list, and then also adding an unordered list. Something that's really important that I just kind of thought about here, that I want everybody's attention back on my screen. I want everybody to come back to my screen for a second so I can see a little warning sign that shows that you're not clicked in to the GoToWebinar page, that you're not looking at my screen. So please, 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 Logan, Max, click back in. Hey, Max, can you click back in for me, please? All right. So when it is really important that this end tag that says /body and this one that says /HTML are at the very end, and that you don't put any code past them. Okay, all of this code needs to be within the body of the document and within this HTML. All right, just as a reminder. You guys can go back. I'll have some of my least favorite things. It's a little difficult. Think of things I dislike. I don't like driving in traffic. It's not very fun. Oh no! You're on your dad's PC. I gotcha. Well, I'm glad that you got an alternative working. I'm sorry that you lost your PC though. All right, so go ahead and work on this ordered list and unordered list. I'll go ahead and put my computer crashing as one of my least favorite things. The cold. Not a big cold fan. All right, so you can see my ordered list example and my unordered list example. That difference really was just that UL there. And I'll bold this. And you can start to see the more you use HTML, the easier it is to kind of switch these things out. Oh, you love the cold, Caden. Oh man, I enjoy the warmth. All right. Take your time, you guys. Go ahead and raise your hand when you do finish, and that way I know that that we're ready to move forward. And somebody remind me at the end of class so that we can see the work that people posted to Edmodo, the code and such. Great, Jasper. Awesome. Yeah, just leave your hand up when you're finished, and then you can add more to your code if you want, more to your website if you want, and then we'll just keep on. I'm actually going to try something out while we wait here and make sure this is going to work. Okay, great. So we'll learn in just a second after we get to this part. We'll learn how to add images to the site. All right, shoot me a question if you're having any trouble. Oh, you learned this yesterday? Cool. So Cademan, you can, oh, there you go. There's the thing. All you need to get started is just this HTML and body. Right, this doc type HTML the HTML start tag. You got your head with the title, Cademan. Right. Once you have this, if you're on a PC, you can open Notepad. You'll memorize it? Okay, you can absolutely memorize it. I went ahead and sent you the code if you just wanted that code as well to get started. But Cademan, if you can go ahead and raise your hand too, it'll help me know that we're ready to keep going. It's just easier for me to see. And take your time, guys. Some people are quicker typers than others, and that's okay. Just don't forget to raise your hand so I know we can keep learning and you guys can learn how to add little corgi puppies to your website or whatever you are interested in. Maybe I'll make it a Tar Heel. I should say, let me know if you're a Duke fan and it's just hurting you to hear so much about the... Maybe I'll make it a Panthers. There we go. You can all be on board with the Panthers. That is not how you do that. Not sure what you mean, Cademan. I do think I left the end of the head off of your document, but I don't entirely know what you're referring to with that. This is not how you do that. Oh, he added a document. This works pretty well to add one. This is the HTML code to add one. So. Oh man, we got two Cademans on here now. All right. I am probably going to have to keep going here. It's 6:35 now, so if you didn't get a chance to finish adding your unordered or ordered list, you can absolutely come back and do it. Remember, this is all being recorded, so what's great about that is you can pause and spend kind of as much time as you want, but we got so much to cover, I want to be able to keep going here. So, yeah, so make sure if you keep both your notepad open and your browser, you can refresh and you can see some of that stuff. So, all right. So I'm going to show you guys how to add an image to your website, and then I'm going to show you a few challenges, and I want you to go through and try those challenges out on your own. All right, so, hey, Caden, what's your question? Do you have a question? Caden? All right, Caden, I can't hear you, but go ahead and type in your question if you have a question. Yes, Caden? For some reason it's not letting me hear you, so go ahead and type it. Okay. So just like how the break tag, which we can go ahead and show you an example of the break tag. If you look over here, some of HTML is very, very, very useful to know. I can put just a BR in those angled brackets after this very, and it's just one tag. It doesn't have an end. If I save this, it'll move this long very to the next line. Okay. Note that just hitting enter won't do that. I actually have to tell Notepad that I want to break there. Okay. What's broken? Okay, then. This text didn't work. It's missing a head, so it says doc type HTML, the start tag HTML, the start tag head, and it has title, Cademan site, and then the end tag title. You need an end tag head before the body tag. Oh, your mic is broken? Okay. Sorry that your mic is broken, but just let me type if you have a question, okay? All right. The way this is similar, this is a single tag as well. So there's not going to be an end tag. And what this is saying is that you want to show an image on your website, and this is pointing to where that image lives. Now the easiest way to do this is to keep the image in the same folder that you have your website, because what it's going to do is it's going to look in the folder in the like these folders here. This is a folder where I have my predictive analytics and data mining work. This is a folder, right? These are actually called directories. That's what the fancy computer term is. But it's just where all the files are kept together. And so it's going to look in the same folder for a file called panthers.gif. All right. You can tell it to look in another folder, but the easiest thing to do for right now is just to put the image in the same folder. In this case, my folder, quote unquote, is my desktop. You can see I have two images on my desktop right now. I have the Corgi Pup image, which is a JPEG, and that's that extension, the dot right after. And we're actually going to learn what JPEGs are. Then we have this Panthers GIF. So if you grab an image and put it on your desktop, you can add it to your site by using the angle brackets, image src equals, and then the name of the image. So in this case, it's Corgi Pup. Note that P is capital. Capital does matter. All right, so if it's capital or if it's lowercase, it does matter. The width just tells the browser to set the width of the image. You can actually set the width and the height, but notice that this image is not a square, which means that the bottom is wider than it is tall. All right, the width of it to the height of it is a ratio. It's actually called the aspect ratio of that image. If you just change the width, it will automatically adjust the height as well, so that the image doesn't kind of look funky, like you squeezed it weird. I could also tell it a height. So I'll tell it something kind of really funky here. I'll tell it 90. Then it's going to look kind of bizarre and squinched. All right, so we just don't tell it what height to be, and it will automatically calculate how tall it needs to be of a width 250 and still look normal. All right, Caitman, let's see. So Caitman, what you are doing right now, it's not gonna, it won't work for this website. So Caitman is saying you have to copy the URL from the web. This file is only on my computer. I can't send you this address and you see this, because what this web address says up at the top here is that it's accessing this web page from this computer. This web file, the notepad document that you have on your desktop, is not on the internet. And it's not on the web because we haven't shared it with anyone. Our browser can still open it because it's an HTML file, but normally when you go to another website, you are accessing a file that's on a server somewhere. You're accessing it through the web. You're not doing that in this case. So we'll do that later when we do our Google sites, which will be live on the web. But right now, we're going to do it how the person that would code this for a server. So when companies put images on their websites, that image exists on their servers. So they do this line of code. All right, when you add the URL for another person's image, that's simply taking an image that's on someone else's server and putting it on yours. So this is the actual code for how to put an image on your website. For you, it's not popping up. That's true, Jasper, because you don't have that image on your computer. Oh, you do have that image on your computer. Oh, wow. Good for you. Okay, well, I was about to send it out to everybody right now. Oh, the image that you picked. Okay, well, we're going to start with the image of the Panthers for everybody because I know what the name of that image is, so it makes it a little bit easier. So go ahead and put that Panthers image. Caitman, I see that you have a hand. I'm going to call on you in just a second, okay? I've been trying to answer your questions, but let's try to get this Panthers image working for everybody. So this Panthers.gif, you want to take that file and save it wherever yours currently is. So right now, my website is on my desktop, this index, so my Panthers image is also on the desktop, all lowercase. And that's the code for that. Image source equals quotations, Panthers.gif, quotations, width equals 250. Jasper, I may know why yours isn't working too. All right, Caitman, what's your question?
I was just saying, hypothetically, you have to have the picture on a server for someone else to see it. You can't have your picture on your computer if you were to put the website on a server, because they wouldn't be able to see it.
That's true. Just like you'd have to have
Picture would also have to be on
server as well.
Yes.
Absolutely. Good point. All right. The same thing. Why? Okay, so Jasper, raise your hand. You or type in. You're using a Mac, right? Okay. What do your quotation marks look like mine that are straight here? Let me try to zoom in. They're straight. They don't look curvy at all. There's no curve to them, a slight curve. Here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you They are curvy. Yes, we've run into this issue in the past. So I just sent you the straight quotation marks. So what happens in your HTML or in your notepad, it automatically changes the quotation marks so that they point in towards the text. That's HTML is not going to accept that. It's just going to accept the bare minimum, no formatting. So if you copy and paste Command C and Command V, that straight, it works. Yay! Oh, good. It works. Good, good, good. All right. Logan, were you able to get that to work? Max? Oh, so Shift Option plus. Shift Option quote also works. Very cool. All right, let's go ahead and try out some of these challenges. We have a few minutes to try out. Well, we're going to try out the challenges on Monday. I want to get us started on Google Sites, and then in the last 5 minutes, we will take a look at the Edmodo stuff. All right. So what we're going to do is I want you to log in to your Google user, the one that you're going to use to create your Google site with. So I'm going to use this. All right. And I'm just in Google right now, but I'm logged in. My account. Here, I'll send you guys the right thing. Hold on. All right, I'm sending the link out to the group here in chat. All right. Oh, dog? Yeah. Okay. Caitlin, did you hear my dog scratching her collar? She has a very noisy collar. I apologize. She is pretty cute, though. All right, go ahead and raise your hand if you need another minute to get to Google Sites. All right, no worries. Great. No, I was not talking. I know there's not a lot of time yet. Oh, there's a typo for internet under the video. Oh, no. Intranet is something that's different than internet. So an intranet and intranet is something in a company where people can communicate with each other, but it's within an organization. Oh, can you still not hear me, Jasper? Oh, no, okay. So, for example, international travel is traveling between two countries. Intranational travel, even though you don't really ever hear anyone saying that, that's traveling within your country. You would just hear national travel, honestly, but that's what the intra means. Okay, so go ahead and click Get Started. All right, we're going to hit Create over on the side here. One thing that's really important is we want you guys to just use a blank template, okay? We don't want you to use a template right now because you're going to build your own template, right? We're creators. And think of some interesting name for your site. You do not want to use your last name in the name for your site, all right? So I'm not going to call it Miss Dubik's site. I'm going to call it, what should I call it? Another slice of Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi is the little computer. I called it, oh, the coding turtle. I like that. I like Python turtle. So we're not going to select the theme. Oh no, we can select the theme. So that's the other thing I want you guys to do right now. So it says browse the gallery for more. We're not going to use a template. We're going to do a blank template. But if you want to select the theme, you can select the theme. I would recommend just going something really simple for right now. I will go with cherry pie. Or no, solitude cherry. Fit my pie name. And then we're not gonna do a category, and we're not gonna do any of these more options, okay? And you can go ahead and hit create. Once you have your theme. And you can change the theme after, so don't get too stressed about that. All right, go ahead and raise your hand if you need another minute to create the site. No? Okay, great. So let's go ahead and this is where we're going to stop for today for Google Sites. Let's check out Edmodo. And if anyone wants to post a screenshot of their site today, or they can send me the file, but we can take a look at what you guys have been doing. The best engineers of the day, Game Central, Bling Bling. And then Portal 2, Portal. That's great. And Minecraft, very cool. Oops. So that was Cademan's work. Oh wow, we got tons of notifications. And Here is Caedmon's here. And you can see that, so this A is an anchored link, so that would actually allow Caedmon to click on that, or whoever to click on that and go to Seam. This image source is to a, as Caedmon was saying, is the URL. So this is going out and finding this image. I will also like these. All right, and so anyone else feel free to kind of show what they're able to create. I enjoy looking at these. This is I enjoy that one. It's obvious. Just look at it. And there's some wonderful code. My newfangled webs. All right, so there's lots that you can post that way. Oh, no worries, Logan. When I click create, it doesn't work. Oh no. What does it do? Jasper. I just had to do the CAPTCHA. Okay. Oh, I learned something very cool about the way Google does CAPTCHAs the other day. Do you know when you actually type that in, the CAPTCHA, to make sure you're a human and not a robot, you are helping machine learning. So you are helping Google learn how to read a book. It's very, very neat. So what they do is someone sits there and scans in the pages of a book, and Google takes each word and tries to take it from that picture of a word and turn it into text. And it will actually show you the word. I don't know if you've ever seen it, the CAPTCHAs now that look like a picture of a word from a book, but that is a real book that got scanned in that Google's having a hard time with. So they'll show that same word to, 90 different people, and if they all say, hey, yeah, that's the word Caedmon, then Google will learn, okay, that word is Caedmon, and it gets smarter. Caedmon's here this up. All right, guys. I don't have an assignment for you this week. I really wanted us to just get that Google site made. Do not add anything to the Google site right now. We will work on it on Monday as well, kind of filling it out a little bit, and then we'll get started on our next unit on Monday as well. I hope you guys have enjoyed this week and working with HTML, and we're going to use a little bit of the HTML with Google Sites, but we are going to move on to another kind of more traditional engineering kind of topic up next. Enjoy your guys' lab tomorrow, and have a wonderful weekend. Oh, the lab was yesterday? Oops. Sorry. Well, it was yesterday. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed lab. Does anyone want to tell me what they did? No? It's the end of class? All right, well, I'm sure I'll hear about, hats and soldering. Oh, very cool. Ooh, soldering. Oh, good, because we're going to be doing some electrical engineering here soon in the webinar, so that'll be very helpful that you've already started that. We'll get a little test, see who is paying attention. Great. All right, guys, have a wonderful evening.